What's up, everybody? Tonight it's about the Cops tune and the Right Coast Off-Road clutch weights and the 1,000 mile plus review. Check it out. All right, so here we go. Right Coast Off-Road clutch weights. I stuck the stock ones right here in the kit. Here are the Right Coast weights, and check this out. So this is after 1,000 miles. Overall, this is still really smooth with a tiny bit of a groove at the end, right where the belt stops, which is pretty well normal. Other than that, pretty nice and smooth. And they look, honestly, they look identical. Each one looks exactly the same. Now remember, I paired this up with a G-Boost belt, which we do sell on our website. We're getting more in stock soon, and you can check out those belts there. But each weight looks about the same. So let's pull out the stock weights. And I have to say, I've seen a lot of people's pictures of their stock weights, and mine actually pretty decent after, you know, about 1,000 miles on them, compared to a lot of other people's. So let's check these out. Here's the stock weights. So you can see the same amount here, but if you rub your hand, I don't know if I can show it completely, but if you rub your finger, like my thumb right here, you can feel some grooving right in here starting. And honestly, they're about all the same. There's not really one that's worse than the others. It's just a little bit. Honestly, these weights held up pretty well in my machine. And these 1,000 miles that I put on this was with the OEM stock belt. So I didn't even have the G-Boost belt. And I actually had the OEM stock belt for these weights for the first probably 200 to 300 miles before switching it out to the G-Boost belt, which made a big difference. But my weights overall, they do not look as bad as a lot of people have posted on Facebook. Theirs have been all grooved out big time. I never got the shifting feeling. But when I saw this Right Coast product coming out, I reached out to them and we started working together. I just ordered the kit and said, hey, I want to try it out. I want to see how well they do. And I won't promise anything. I'll just give you a review. And I've loved them so far. So the big thing is these compared to these, there's a big performance difference. And when I say big, I'm not talking like you get gain like 3, 4, 5 seconds in speed. I'm just saying overall, the feel of the KRX in general, the UTV, when you're out on trails, to me is night and day difference on throttle response with just the weights alone. The adjustable parts are in here. As of right now, I'll talk about my new setup soon and what I'm running in here. So anyways, there you go. There's the weights. Stock ones, Right Coast ones, and there you go. Okay, and then the next thing we're going to talk about as well, same thing, the Cops tune. So I've had this tune in there for about 1,000 miles as well, and I can tell you it's made a big difference. All right, guys, before I start, I want to make sure I'm looking at the camera. Joe and Dave give me a hard time because I always seem to look off because I'm busy. Actually, I just hate being in front of the camera, but I'll take Joe's advice. I'm going to look at the camera as I talk to you. Hopefully that will help quite a bit. But I want to cover 3 topics concerning the clutch kit and the tune that I run on the KRX. So the first one I want to talk about is mountains and trail riding in general. So that can be trails heading out to the sand dunes like out here in Warner Valley. It can be trails up in Duck Creek and Cedar where we ride. I went on a huge ride, 180 miles to Mesquite and back, and those kind of trails like that. And also we went out, if you guys have watched our overland trailer builds, we went out and we did that as well. And we did 120 miles pulling the trailers, and the trailers were probably, mine came in at just a little over 1,100 pounds, I think. And then once I probably put all the gear in it and the water and stuff, it was probably close to 1,500 pounds. And I was towing that trailer with this KRX it was awesome. I was like shocked how well it pulled it. And I really contributed to the weights, the Right Coast off-road weights, and the Kops tune. It ran extremely well. It had the power in the low end to take off with that trailer. When I wanted to stand on it on the hills, it pulled it right over the hills, no problem doing 35, 40 at times. I know when Dave and I wanted to get home at the last day and we're heading back, we were running between 40 and 50 or so. And all I saw the most was 3 belt temps for just a hair at times, and then you go back to 2. Sometimes at 1, but a lot of times it ran 2 belt temps. And that was paired with the G-Boost belt. So that was 120 miles, 60-ish something miles each way with the trailers. And then we did 100 and something miles on the one day between the 2 Grand Canyons. So I had a lot of experience just running this setup in the KRX just for that weekend. It has done everything that the throttle response, the pickup, being able to kick the rear end around a little bit when I want to. And then now that I've gone from the 31 Carnivore stock tires to the new Sedonia Rockabillys, the 32s, I've added actually 4 1-gram weights now to my kit along with the tune, and it's like it never missed a beat. Like it's running just like it did before, so it's awesome. I have no problems with that at all, and so far it's worked out great. So the adjustability of the weights alone is awesome. It's really easy to do, and when I got the new tires just a few weeks ago, I threw in the new weights, adjusted a little bit until I got it where I wanted, and bam, I'm done, no problem. You know what? It has performed exactly like I wanted to. I know sometimes when you get these new products, like you get the tune or you get the weights, you throw them in, I think your expectations get high. You know, you've been reading a lot on Facebook and all the people's opinions, that they're throwing out there, and they've got like, 2 miles under their belt or no miles under their belt. They just think they got it figured out on how it works. And that's great, whatever, each their own. But at the end of the day, that's the point of this video, is to give you guys a real review of these 2 products paired together in the KRX for at least 1,000 miles. The next area, sand dunes. Will this make a huge difference in the sand dunes? The answer is no. You might find the difference. It's just, the sand is it's just soft, man, and it's just so forgiving. You're just spinning. You can use all the power in the world. Turbo cars do great out in the sand dunes because it's like the more power the better when you're running straight sand, and you're going to be on it all the time, so you're not going to notice a huge difference with the tune and clutch. I mean, you'll notice, but you know what I mean. It's just different in the sand. You can just always use more power. These are heavy machines. They do extremely well in the sand, regardless of what people say. They run around everywhere I want to go. I've had no problems out in Dumont, and that was even before the tune or the weights. I'd be excited to go down there again, but it works great, so I have no problems. But sand dunes, yeah, you're not going to feel the big difference, in my personal opinion, for the review after 1,000 miles, and I have a lot of miles in the sand as well. The next spot is probably rocks. So the third one is definitely the rocks. I've done quite a few miles on rock trails now with the kit. Is it big time difference from before? No, because you're doing a lot of slow crawling, and to be honest, straight out of the box, the KRX was extremely well in the rocks. Did it make a little bit of a difference for the better? Yes. I like the throttle response more now. I like being able to crawl over things. It seems like a little bit easier. With the tune and everything, it just seems like it runs a lot better over the rocks. And after doing quite a few miles there, I would say, yeah, 2 thumbs up. It makes a big difference in the rocks. 0 to 60 times. This is the fun one. This is the one that everybody starts fighting with each other on Facebook about, because it matters. It's like you're gonna get a participation trophy because you're fastest from 0 to 60. Guess what, guys? Nobody cares. Most of the people that buy these things aren't putting a KRX out on the drag strip to get a 0 to 60. So I don't know, but because everybody talks about it, I did do a couple runs. So what I did is I did 3 runs, same street, same direction, and I did it with the Right Coast off-road clutch weights. I left those in. Of course, the 32-inch tires on it now. I just did this actually tonight. I did these runs today before doing this video. And then with the Kops tune. And then I took out the Kops tune, and I put a few miles on the KRX to get it going again. And then I went out and did it with the stock tune. And right now I'm gonna post those videos. So let me show you the first video. Sorry about the sun glare. The sun was going down and it was in my way and it was glaring on the phone. But anyways, if you see, this video is actually from the Draggy. It's a video that the Draggy takes, and I'll also post the times from the stock tune with the clutch weights. So as you guys are watching that right now as I'm talking, basically that's a 0 to 60 time that will that you guys can see right there that I'm showing on this video. So the next one is actually the Cops tune run. So by the time I came home, got everything switched, did all that kind of stuff, went out, sun was a lot better, went same direction, same road, same everything, and I ran it. And if you guys are looking at this video and the times, and give me a second here, I'll post both times up right next to each other on the screen for a second while I talk. There's a big difference. There's a pretty big difference. If you notice on the weights held their own. They weren't too far off on that 0 to 30. They held their own pretty well, and worked pretty well either way with stock ECU or not. So basically they held their own. They did a great job. But if you look at the overall performance and what was gained there, if you're looking at what was gained, you're probably looking at anywhere from 6 to 8 or 9 car lanes. Pretty big gain with just the Cops tune. I'm gonna tell you, it runs. It makes a big difference. Have I compared it to the Elba tune, to the V-Force John tune, to the dyno tune, same with the dyno weights, all that kind of stuff. I know JBS is coming out with some weights sometime in the near future, I guess. I don't know. I haven't compared any of those. It doesn't really matter to me at the end of the day, because what I'm getting out of the performance from the Cops tune, mirrored with the Right Coast off-road weights, is more than I asked for. It's exactly what I need from that 0 to like 35, 40 range out in the trails on actual riding, and that's where I want it. But in the 0 to 60 times, as you guys can see, it made a difference. So for some of you guys that are wondering what weights to buy, this, that, I don't think there's another review out there that's showing you weights that have 1,000+ miles on them on YouTube. I would be curious to see what dyno weights look like after 1,000 miles on them when they pull them out and compare them to the stock. Like I said, my stock weights look nothing like a lot of people's stock weights on Facebook. They're pretty torn up. They get the shifting, all that kind of stuff. I never got that. I was running the OEM belt, and I never got that shifting experience. But I did change them out after 1,000 miles. So these two weights, comparing them together, literally have almost the same exact miles on them. And then almost with the tune as well. The tune is just came a little bit after that. So at the end of the day, I think it's a great comparison just to kind of see where we went from point A to point B from stock to the upgrade and how well they're holding up. They haven't ruined my rollers. They haven't ruined anything in the clutch. It looks great. I did pair it about 300 or 400 miles after the install of the Right Coast off-road weights themselves. I did finally pair it with a G-Boost belt. I did at first run an OEM belt. But I did change that, and that made a huge difference. You can find that on our website as well. Once we get more in stock, we will put them in there, and you guys can find the G-Boost belts there as well, along with the Right Coast off-road weights. At the end of the day, I'm extremely, extremely happy. One thing with the Cops tune is when I talked to them, I told them I had a California model. They told me I had to get rid of the evap system, all that kind of stuff, and do that. They showed me how to do it. I did that. I put in the new rollover valve. And then I set that all up, and I've not had an issue. I haven't had an engine code. I haven't had any problems at all so far running it, and like I said, it's been running for about 1,000 miles. So there it is, guys. That is my honest review of the weights and the tune. After 1,000+ miles, all I can say is I'm happy as can be. It's made a huge difference, and I didn't know that big difference until I threw the stock ECU on and was driving around for a while. I was like, holy crap, there is a massive difference, because I've been running with the Cops tune for so long that it was just kind of funny. So there it is, guys. I don't know if you'll find it anywhere else. I've seen a lot of reviews out there, and they don't put any time in this stuff, and we want to put the time in. We're not biased at all. We want to bring, hey, if you got a product that thinks it's better, if dyno's looking at their weights and they think that they're better, send them out. We'll test them. Same with the tune. You got a tune? Send it out. You got a weights and tune combination? Send them out, and we'll try them out. But we're going to try them out for a while. So that's what I did here, and I finally, Dave and Joe were like totally just on me nonstop. When's that tune video coming out? When's the weight video review stuff coming out? And yeah, I put it off for a long time, but I really wanted to put some miles behind my review and give you guys an honest opinion. So I hope this helps. I hope it helps a lot. I know there's a lot of conversation on Facebook. I'm gonna post this video on Facebook on a couple groups. I can't wait to see the comments. I can't wait to watch some of the people just cry about it. I can't wait to see them get all mad about this or that or who's better. Nobody cares, dude. I don't know why they get so heated. I don't know why people gotta be like that. Can't we just like look at products, enjoy products, pay attention to them, and if we like them, we use them. If we don't, move along. That's my philosophy. Anyways, this is Garrett with Deranged. Make sure whatever you pack in, you pack out, and we'll catch you on the next one.